So, Devils, J-Dog back to crank out another goddamn fucking video for you. Here at the goddamn work office. Wanted to crank out a quickie before I head out. So that way I don't have to do a shitload all tomorrow on a Saturday. And we're bringing up the video. I hadn't proofread any of these fucking things because I wanted to keep this just as fucking quick as possible. And it's the video, any big metal labels that are not pose or sellouts. 1.6 thousand fucking views, and 87 comments. And it was, so this is 2 weeks ago, so I'm 2 weeks fucking behind. So goddamn, I got a lot of fucking videos to make. Yeah, then proofread, like I told you guys in earlier videos, it seems like any of the fucking videos that have the word poser mentioned in, man, the guys love the fucking poser talk. So we're gonna see what the fuck's in here. Don't remember what else we fucking talked about, but I remember talking about the somebody asked about, yeah, a big labels not being complete sellouts. I do remember that question there. So first goddamn question from Human Brisket. Hey J Dog, has sales gone up at Hell's since you started the channel? Hopefully it is. Love that you guys put links to hear the album before buying. Um, it feels like I answered this question. If I did, sorry, but yeah, maybe someone asked me this. If I'll re-answer it. Yeah, it's hard to say if they've gone up. I will say this: if people make comments in the notes section every day, like, "Hey J Dog, I picked this up because you recommended it, or you talked about it," or "Hey, what's up, J Dog?" But is those sales directly related because of the videos? Hard to say, but definitely a more people saying I got this because of you. So theoretically, yeah, but nothing like crazy. Like, hey, there's we're averaging 100 orders a day. Now we're averaging 200. Nothing like that. But people definitely saying I picked this up because you recommended it. Like Fine Empire and stuff for sure. So you know what, guys? I'm almost thinking like fucking some of these. Like I said, I thought I answered that question sounded familiar. Uh, I think if like some of these other questions don't look too familiar. So say, did I already do these ones? But I checked my last video, which video I left off. This was the next goddamn video online. And so some of these questions, I mean, some of these are just comments, but I don't recognize them. Here, well, yeah, I don't recognize this. Real quick, Skerner the Cimmerian. Hey, J Dog, any plans for HH to do any more muscle shirts? I remember seeing a Mortician one long ago, but it was already sold out. Yeah, that one was quite a while ago. Then we did Diafago ones. That's all up to the band. And I don't think, like, for example, Mortician doing them. I don't know if Will Romer still works out, but I know he used to and be into it. So that's probably thought that would be kind of a cool apparel for it because he's into working out. The guys at Diafago, same thing. They like to work out. So I think they kind of like want them for themselves. So that's just do them. As you guys know, and especially when I get the fucking training questions like that, a lot of guys, like people in the metal scene, they don't even fucking care. They just want to sit on the couch and drink beer and do whatever the fuck else they need to do, presumably. So I don't think that they have as much interest. So obviously, most of the bands being fans going to have the same idea. So it'd have to be up to the a band. You know what I mean? Like I could see maybe like King of Deceased being into them because you ever notice every time you see King following a fucking photo, his he always rips off the fucking sleeves. So I'm surprised that deceased one hasn't got brought up. So probably in the future, but it's just that's really up to the bands, and I just don't think a lot of bands have interest in them because they don't work out or anything. Questions. God, I'm seeing a couple that I'm passing because it's really nothing like it's stuff that I don't even know anything about. Um, like I'll give you an example, guys. Like questions just like this, I'm kind of skipping over because I do want to get maybe if I could even do like knock out 2 videos of questions worth of one video, just to kind of like I said, 2 weeks behind stuff like these type of questions. Just give you an example. Collins Awesome Sauce Corner. Jada, what's your opinion on the gore grind scene coming out of the Saint Pierre region? Amazing stuff. I don't even know. I don't like. There's newer gore grind bands specifically coming out of there, like a good handful of them. Like who are some examples? I'm not familiar with them at all, so I don't have an opinion. So questions like that. Vlad Tepes. No, it's just Vlad Tepes. Surprised that user ID was allowed. Maybe ban Litchi or whatever. You know what I mean? Because someone says I own the rights to that or whoever. I pretty much given up Hope for a new KD Merciful Fate album anytime soon. KD released a single, what, 5 years ago? And nothing since. No news, no anything. I forget who was told it. Maybe it was one of the devils in the comments or somebody. Somebody recently told me. I think it was somebody in the comments. That actually the King Diamond album, I think it's scheduled to come out next year. So at least we got a date, but still, yeah. The single came out, I'm almost positive 2019, because that's when I saw them live on that tour. And I know the song was not that much earlier on, Masquerade of Madness, which I thought was a really good song. They played it live too. So yeah, what is that? 2, 3 years for sure, 4. So by next year, yeah, it'll be about 5 years since the single. So that is because even like let's just say they did an album 5 years ago. You know what I mean? 5 years prior, 5 years in between gaps of albums. That's I wouldn't say excessive, but that's a kind of a long time frame for a band to be taking to do an album just in general. But it was going on 5 years since the single because I mean, like the last King Diamond album for God Your Soul. When was that? Wasn't that like '08 or some shit? I mean, it's like ridiculous. Honestly, King Diamond, as much as I don't want to say it, he's almost getting thrown in that category. Fucking, hey, brah, you got 15 years shaved off your bill. We've been around fucking, what does he claim? 35 years, I'm sure, or something like that. No, you haven't. Been around 20. Been defunct for 20 fucking 15 years. So yeah, I'm throwing him there. I'm throwing him in there with the fucking Misfits and Archgo. Never even thought about it till now. Yeah, King, he's hanging out with that because, in all honesty, too, like, what the fuck were you doing, man? You're not busy. You ain't got shit going on. You clearly want to do the band still. Oh, well, he had a heart attack and shit like that. Okay, so he had 1 year downtime. I mean, he was sick for whatever in the hospital for months. And I remember when all that was happening. Okay, shave off 1 year. Get back. I mean, give me a fucking break. Singing and shit. It ain't like physically strenuous. You're not digging a ditch. You're not fucking tarring roofs. I mean, you know what I mean? And touring would be the hardest part, going on an album recording. So that's not the excuse. So 15 years, like what the fuck you doing? From Ricky Jones. Do you like the Black Sabbath album, The Headless Cross? It's a good one. I've heard it a couple times. I'm pretty sure it was Dan Murrow, and then once, because I know Dan loves the Tony Martin stuff. And then I believe Don played it once in the shop. When Don worked for us for like a year. He was in between jobs. This was like 10 years ago now. He brought it once, and I always figured that those albums completely stunk. But when I put it on, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good stuff. But I don't know it. I don't own it, but I for sure heard it once, pretty sure twice. And I was surprised. I'm like, this is actually pretty good. I thought it would be, prior to ever hearing it, I always assumed that the 90s albums by Black Sabbath and shit would just be complete junk. But what I heard, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Eric G. This is a pretty good comment. Brutal vocals that aren't guttural. And Balmer, there was blood everywhere when he hits the highs. Rick kind of has that corporate death vocal thing going on. Question: Necrony or Nazem? So, Eric G, I wanted to read that off because, yeah, I actually think I always loved Rick Fleming's vocals on There Was Blood Everywhere. Thought he was fucking great. And too bad that guy's a fucking full blown fucking knob. Um, But I will say this: when Paul joined the band, who's Paul Ribich in the band now, I thought he did a really, really good job um, capturing that sound again with the lows, the gurgles, the highs. Because the biggest thing is with that comeback album, what was it, 13 Faces of Death or whatever, that which nobody likes, and it was Rick singing. You're like, dude, what the fuck? You're not even doing like that. Was one of the characters of it. One of the big things about a Ballmer that makes him awesome is the vocals. Is because it was that 3-way dual vocals by one vocalist. So I was worried. I remember when I heard like Paul was going to take over the Death Throat. You know what I mean? They got a new singer. I'm just like, I hope it's not going to just be traditional. Like, let's just do low vocals. It's like that's fucking stupid. Like that's not what Embalmer was. Because even what's his face, fucking Christ Boy now on the Into the Oven demo. Toby Wolf, is that his name? The guy sings out. Even he's like, that was before Rick, and he had that too. I liked Rick's better, maybe because I heard Rick first, but he did the lows and the highs too, and that was just a big part of the character of Embalmer that I thought it was absolutely essential. Otherwise, just don't even fucking do the band. So yeah, so there was blood everywhere. That was what I heard for years as a teenager. Then I heard Into the Oven probably about 5 years after I heard that CD. I think it was maybe Kanye that gave me a CD or something. I loved that too. And then somewhere I remember around that time, then years go by, 13 Faces of Death came out. Thought that was a fucking turd. Um, I do remember, and I don't know what it's. I mean, Paul would know. I think he watched the videos too. I have just a CD. I think it's a CDR even. I'm pretty sure it's. I think it's the last thing that they recorded before Paul was ever in the band. Pretty sure it's Roy, Brian Baxter, and Rick singing. It was one song, maybe three songs most, but I remember the song. I'm almost positive "Hallowed Corpses" is on there. Gotta go back and listen to it. I think it was. I forget who gave it to me. Maybe Brian handed me the disc. I want to say. I just remember it had like a printed inlay too, where it just said Embalmer logo, and um, and I think it just had a band photo. And I'm almost positive that Rick singing on that, and that was the last thing. I remember liking that though. And then whatever the shit went down with Rick, I don't even know. He was stealing from people or some shit. I've heard so many stories I don't even fucking know. Don't care. Just I conclude this guy's a fucking knob. Um, then he was kicked out of the band, left the band, or whatever the case was. And I don't even think he lives in Ohio no more, from what I understand. Um, that was the last thing I think he's on. But yeah, I gotta dig that disc up and listen to it again. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's just a CDR, like a kind of like a pro looking CDR. I do remember liking that, and that was post 13 Faces of Death. If I'm incorrect in any of this shit, correct me in the comments, anybody. But I'm pretty sure that is it, and I remember liking that though. But as far as ever since Paul entered the band, then with the Emanations and the Embalmed Alive disc, and I haven't heard the new one at all, but I'm sure it's really good. I think that shit's fucking great. So big Embalmer fan, and yeah, the highs are absolutely essential. So again, just a random question. I don't have much to say. Sup, J Dog? Have you heard of cattle sexual urge motivation? Heard the names. I'm almost positive we've had the distro, but I've never listened to it, so don't know it. But I do recognize the name. Carpenter Corpse. Here's one that's kind of like that's what they say. Are you into corpse molestation? Possible to do a comp or reissue their stuff. Thanks, bro. Corpse molestation was always a band I didn't get into. I remember who did the was it Necroharmonic? Was it Roy Fox that did the comp disc that came out nice? It had I think pretty everything they did was on there. As a band I wanted to like, Australian band, early '90s, kind of before like Destroyer 666 and all that, and just wanted to like it but couldn't get into it. But it's another thing. Like if another nice disc comes in, I'll probably like I said, I want to like it. Good name, good logo, good look, awesome time frame, cool ass fucking country. Just everything about it hits all the check boxes for me. When I put it on, I'm just like, remember last time I'm just bored. Um, but it's been a long time since I heard it. It was probably like when that disc, I want to say it's Necroharmonic. Correct me again if I'm wrong on that too. But I don't know why it's for that, that's popping in my mind. I want to say Necroharmonic put that disc out because I remember we got them when it came out. We got a shitload of them. I think we maybe got 50 of them. They moved relatively fast, like when it first came out, and I think we got another 50 or so. And I listened the first time, I was disappointed. I thought I was going to like this for sure. And I remember listening to like one or two other times, but it was around that time, and that's got to be at least 10 years ago now. So probably good up for an update, maybe going on 40 years old, J Dog, be like, you know what, fucking dumb J Dog, get those fucking Dumbo ears cleaned out. This shit's fucking great. Because there's a possibility I would, and like I said, it's kind of like I want to like it because it looks awesome. It's just that's the shit that's up my alley. So I'm like, I don't know, it just feels like I might be missing out. Full Metal Ginger, who wins in a professional wrestling match? Will Romer in his prime or present day J Dog? I mean, I'm not a wrestler, so and I don't know. Was Will ever into wrestling? I know he was into working out, but I don't know. I don't know if he was into more like. Was he more into like just working out for health and fitness? Was he working out for bodybuilding? Was he working out for powerlifting? Was he working out because of wrestling? I just remember he was a fan of wrestling. I don't think I ever see. I want to say that he was wearing WCW shirts or something like that. But now I'm thinking about like when the hell was he wearing that? Like on the back of Hacked Up for Barbecue, he's wearing the Evolves Carnivoracity shirt, which I always thought was cool. Because at the time when I first picked it up, I'm like, what shirt is he wearing? Like when I was like 14 or so, I didn't even know who Evolves was at that time. And then when I found out, I was like, oh, fuck, when I finally got involved, which was Stab Wound Intercourse, melodic, gore, death grind kind of, like the first one in my opinion, or at least that I heard. And I fucking loved it. It was super melodic, but it was like death grindy, and then obviously the early shit's more like that. Anyways, that was the first one I heard. I loved it to this day. I'm like, oh, that's that fucking band. Will's wearing the shirt on the back, all hacked up. Anyways, so I'm trying to think, but I don't know why do I know that? I'm pretty sure Will at least was a fan of wrestling. So theoretically, him, I don't know if he is just a fan of wrestling or was wrestling. So he would probably win in a wrestling match because I've never wrestled in my life. I have no interest in wrestling, etc. However, if it was a fucking bodybuilding competition, Who wins physique wise? Me right now or Will at his best? I think I would destroy him personally. A damn question again. More questions of shit that I'm like, yeah, I don't even like. This is fucking. Here's a completely random one. Shelby Sims. Hey J Dog, are you guys out of the tomb of the mutilated import shirts? I don't know. Whatever the site says, brah. It's on the site, then we have them. If it's not on the site, then we don't. Went to grab one. No cannibal shirts to be found. Also, my wife wants to know how the McCafe coffee is treating you. Treat me just fine, brah. I think. He's talking about this. McCafe is probably my favorite coffee, and before they had their own brand, my favorite place if I was to go in a drive-through window was McDonald's coffee. I think Starbucks is pretty good too, but I think McDonald's is the kings, and I think McDonald's fucking destroys fucking hippie ass fucking Starbucks. We'll say this though. Speaking of, I saw another guy ask about beads and no reply. Mike Hamilton from Deeds of Flesh Drummer and Exhumed drummer. He was down at the shop. He's buddies with Tommy Redefining Darkness, and I heard Mike moved here from California to here a few years ago. I think his wife lives out here. He moved here for I think his wife or his kid, something like that. But he lives like 30 minutes from me. He came down the shop the other day, and we were talking about the Deeds of Flesh stuff and stuff like that. And he's we'll throw it around. And sounds like they're doing it themselves or whatever. But he said he'll talk to Jacoby about it for us. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it's him and Jacoby. And actually, I just emailed him. They get a reply back because I couldn't figure out what fucking grind I need or whatever. He's doing his own coffee company. He gave me some sample packs to show you devils too. I knew nothing about it. Here's the info. Battle Forged Coffee Company. I went on the website. I went to go order the 5 pound bag, but it said like whole bean, grind, fine grind, super fine. I'm like, what the fuck? What do I don't know. I just got a regular fucking Mr. Coffee maker. What do I need? I emailed him and I get a reply back. It was just yesterday. But that's probably I thought the coffee was really good, and I'd rather support like Mike and people in the metal scene in a small company rather than an enormous corporation. But I got to say, I do like McDonald's coffee. I like McDonald's as a whole too. Always have ever since I was a kid. Josh Death Thrash. I'll make this the last question. This is actually the last question on. Oh no, well, there's one real quick one. Actually, I'll answer this one first. It's real quick. Isothony U666 J Dog. Do you like Amputator from Rhode Island? It's funny. They did like a when they did their first 2 releases. I think one was a split, one was a full length. It's been a long time since I listened to them. I remember it was. I'm pretty sure it was the full length slash EP. I remember really liking that. Thought it was actually pretty damn decent, but it's been quite some time since I heard it. And then I think I remember listening to Split. I'm like, not as much. And I think something else came after that and didn't care about it. But I remember that band first started, and I did like whatever I heard first, and I'm pretty sure it was the first release at the time. Again, got to put next course of watch, and they should go re-listen to it though. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Black and white covers kind of looks like Revenge in a type style. Black and white gray covers. Anyways, last goddamn question. Josh Death Thrash. J Dog, what happened with Hell's Bells, the trucker guy? I don't know. Good question. He used to do the pickups. I'm assuming dead or in jail. Dead, jail, or fired. I mean, he's just a total fucking knob. That was kind of a Reaper thing, just fucking with the guy, which was kind of funny, but at the same time, I think Reaper got a little bit carried away with it because I'm just like, he's asking him questions and shit like that. I'm like, well, the guy's just kind of an idiot. Like, he's just drunken fool. Like, who cares what this guy thinks? So he's asking about like Archcode and stuff like that. So he doesn't know what that shit is. But he was kind of fucking with him in a sense because the guy was claiming to go to shows that he didn't. But I don't know. I just like, to me, I mean, yeah, kind of, especially when Reaper's recording, is kind of funny, but maybe a little long-winded. I'm like, this is just some random hillbilly guy driving a truck that, yeah, I listen to metal because he listens to AC/DC and fucking Pink Floyd, and that's what he thinks. But again, like, a lot of these guys, we've talked about people like that on the channel before. Like, they think, like, because they listen to fucking Van Halen and all this other stuff that they're into metal. And there's some of the guys that used to be into death metal or claim to be in death metal, or some of them still in death metal bands. That's the hilarious part, is when they're like, they barely listen to it on their own time, own dime. When they're on their own, they only listen to it when their buds are around or when they're fucking there's a party or something. But when they're in their own car and stuff, they're only listening to, AC/DC, Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, things like that. It's like, you're in the category of Hell's Bells. That's what he listens to. And he'll openly tell you he doesn't listen to Cannibal Corpse, doesn't know what Arch Goat is, all that shit. I guarantee he doesn't even know who Cannibal Corpse is. Never heard of them. So it's like, yeah, you guys that claim you listen to playing death metal band, you claim that you listen to stuff which you don't. You're just listening to the same stuff as him, though. So it's like, just because you know these bands or you used to listen to them as a kid, it kind of don't count. You're in the same category as this. And again, that's that guy wouldn't consider. It's like, he's just into classic rock stuff. He's just some hillbilly guy who doesn't care about metal whatsoever. You put on Kerner G or something for him, he's like, this is complete garbage. So that's what he's going to fucking think, which is fine. But that guy doesn't come around like, yeah, I'm into fucking metal. He wouldn't claim that. You know what I mean? So it's like, why do the guys in fucking bands when that's all they listen to now? And I've met tons that's literally on their own time all they listen to is classic rock and shit. Again, this is fine. It's just like, stop claiming you're basically out of the scene now. You don't even listen to this shit anymore. You don't listen to black metal on your own time. You don't listen to Marduk, Immortal, Incantation. You know what I mean? Death, this you just don't. They flat out don't. So it's the Hell's Bells. So kind of like with Hell's Bells, like they asked them, I mean, like said Reaper was fucking with them, but I didn't really care. I was like, this guy's just some hillbilly jackass. And I give two flying fucks what his opinion is. I met tons of people like him, and he means nothing to me. Like I said, probably dead or in jail or fucking fired, and whichever the three it is, I completely care less because he's just a useless human being in my opinion. So haven't seen him in years. Just random dudes that for the same company that they pick up the DHL packages. It's just some other just random, just normal non-metal dudes. So just say hi, bye. That's it. Leave it at that. So that's it for this one, Devils. Comments, questions, concerns, leave them in the goddamn comment section. I get them answered as always, 6 a.m. See you in the next one. Later.